Welcome to the Wine Zone. This is Pro&Kon and I'm Conrad Ejbich. My guest today is Heidi Noble. Heidi is the proprietor of Joie Farm Winery in Naramata, British Columbia, and that, folks, is on the west coast of Canada. You're a chef?
I am.
Sommelier?
True.
Cooking school owner? Instructor? Essayist?
At one time.
Author? Farmer?
All of the
winemaker?
above. Yes.
What are you really?
All of those things.
Yeah, what do you like to call yourself?
Proprietress.
Proprietress.
Yes.
I'm curious about that because it doesn't sound, I don't challenge you, but it doesn't sound feminist. It sounds like,
I think
you know, like actresses hate being called actress. I want to be an actor.
I know I like proprietress.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I like it too. I mean, I like the fact that people are what they
I think it's a little more gentle than boss lady.
I like boss lady.
You do.
Head honcho. I once got a card from a guy at the keg. He was a Vancouver.
Proprietor.
And it said head honcho.
Proprietor is stuffy.
It
But
kind of is.
proprietress really takes people off guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, you've, as I say, you've been a lot of things and over a long time. Tell me about the path that you took from your first stepping into a kitchen at 14 to where you are now. Considering that we've only got like 10 minutes.
This short version.
Yeah.
Well, I think that job at 14, I was in high school and I lived in Edmonton. It was my very first kitchen job and I worked for a catering company and I did prep work and I did dishes as many people start in the restaurant business, and I loved every minute of it. It was a job where I never looked at the clock and said, oh, I have 6 more hours to work. It was the kind of thing where you looked at the clock and like, oh no,
I have to leave.
6 hours is past, and
Yeah.
I think that was that. I loved that kind of work. I loved the energy of the team that I worked with. I got taken to all sorts of parties and gigs, and I think that's
At
awesome.
14.
At 14.
14 parties and gigs with obviously
Sure.
wine and other
Wine and
consumables.
food and fun people in the food and wine business. Yeah, and that stuck. And even though I did go on to university, I think even with 2 degrees, that's something that never leaves you. So I had to go back. So I went back to cooking school after university. I did. I went to the University of Western Ontario. I was at the Centre for Theory and Criticism there. I did a philosophy degree and a critical theory degree. Mm-hmm. But I knew I needed to work. Mm-hmm. And I thought very hard about staying in academia, but I couldn't. I worked in kitchens when I was in university too.
Were you a person who was really focused, or you just like, whatever, I'm going to discover things?
There was lots of discovery, but I finished both of those degrees.
Right. But without a plan as to what I'm going to do after.
I thought I was going to stay in university.
Yeah.
But the kitchen drew me back. So I went to chef school after university at Stratford, which was really exciting because at the time Stratford got hundreds and hundreds of applicants a year and they only took 20 of us. So, and that's something that actually profoundly changed my life for sure, in the sense that I became a proprietress, because Stratford was run by it was a school for entrepreneurs. Yes, it was a cooking school and it was the sort of CIA of Canada, but first and foremost we were taught to run our own businesses.
Yeah, they weren't looking for cooks, they were looking for chefs.
Yeah, in every aspect. We had to take accounting and movement classes to learn how to, front of house and back of house were equally important in that program. And we learned all sorts of things that I still use to this day,
and
every day.
Where did that get you into Joie? What was the next step?
Well, from there I went on and I completed my journeyman training. I did my apprenticeships at the AGO here in Toronto with Chef Anne Yarmovich, and
I know Anne very well.
She's still here, and
not at the AGO, but she's still
in Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
And I worked for Normand Laprise at Tuckey.
Okay. Wow, Montreal, sure.
When Tuckey was still on Saint Denis, the old Tuckey in the basement. That was an amazing experience. The food product that came into Tuckey at the time was, and still is, I'm sure, It was amazing.
Yeah.
And then I moved back out west to Vancouver, where my family was at the time. Continued to work in kitchens, ran a kitchen at 25. But I got very frustrated with the fact I love to travel, and I couldn't afford to eat in my peers' restaurants or travel and all of those things. And I knew I needed to make a slightly different, I wanted to stay in the food and wine business, so I wrote my sommelier papers.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to work in the wine trade with a small niche importer in Vancouver
Called?
the Sea Cove Group with
Okay.
Jack Siegel.
Yep.
And the wine business again changed my life. It was a way to still be involved with restaurants, but you were going in the front door, not the back door.
Right.
And it was a far more civilized, respectful aspect of the business.
Right, right.
But still very open. I got to travel around the world, meet all sorts of winemakers, winery owners, people involved in the wine trade. The portfolio I worked with had a huge Italian component, so I got to travel to Italy 3 times, which was amazing, and still keep in touch with a lot of those contacts
Sure.
that I made. I was at the Terroir Symposium last week and
Okay.
saw Roberto Bava, who was he was somebody that he considers himself a chef philosopher.
I get the philosophy part. I remember some of
Yeah,
his
he has the
his
crazy eye.
his
His
wines.
musical wines, and he certainly thinks outside the box about a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. But
So that was
That's-
pretty cool to
that's-
see Roberto 16 years later.
yeah,
Like it was yesterday we saw one another, so that was wonderful.
that's one of the things I love about this business is that we get to see people from all over the world.
It's true. It's very.
Like, we have friends everywhere.
It's true. And a lot of those friends where I came at my winemaking a little bit backwards. I had a very trained palate and huge resources of people to ask questions to, and did.
Yeah.
So I was very blessed in the fact that I met all sorts of people that
Right.
I could draw on those resources from.
Do you make the wine now, or does
I
somebody
do.
make it with you and you
I
just say, do this,
certainly
do that?
do.
Yeah, yeah, because that's chefing with the grapes, right?
Yeah, I have a winery team, but I am the
Just as a chef, as a kitchen team,
Yeah,
of course.
You can't take down 230 tons by yourself.
Right? No.
No.
You're at least 5'3". Come on.
No, I'm not.
You're not?
No, I'm 5 feet tall.
Oh.
On the nose, with socks on.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, with powerful shoulders. 5'3" all the way around. No.
No, making wine is like the world's longest restaurant service. It's a service that never. It's a 60-day restaurant service, and I think that's why I loved it so much.
Most people making wine say that from harvest, it feels like 3 months of Mondays.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every
I
day.
understand that. I understand that completely. Now, I want to talk about your wines, but first I'd like to poke a few current issues.
Sure.
Okay? Free my grapes. Now, there's a hashtag that many Canadians have got to understand. I'm guessing, we're in Ontario here. My guest is from British Columbia, and I should point out that 4,000 kilometers separates us. So that's as far as Caracas, Venezuela. I checked it in Google. So I mean, it's as a Canadian, I want to love and experience my own wines, my Canadian wines, but I can't get them here.
I know it's
right.
That's what we're doing here in Toronto.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that there's a lot of anger in British Columbia over Ontario and Quebec's refusal to allow interprovincial trade.
Yeah, there's a lot of frustration, certainly within the wine trade.
But now, last week, we had a court say, it is illegal to ban interprovincial trade. So can we not simply just do it and the hell with them, because they're breaking the law if they stop us, as opposed to us breaking the law if we do it?
I think a lot of people are relieved that the border between British Columbia and Ontario is lapsed, and it makes it far easier to get our wines here now.
You can sell here.
We can.
Outside of the LCBO.
Yes, we can. We can ship direct to consumer's door.
Any limits?
Not in Ontario.
Not in Ontario.
No.
Since when?
To New Brunswick for the past 2 years.
No, Ontario doesn't allow BC wines in through through direct shipping. This is one of the big contentions.
I think that
Christy
happened.
Clark is not too happy about that, and Kathleen Wynne doesn't care.
No, I think that happened two years ago. There's still provinces in Canada where you cannot ship direct to. New Brunswick is one of them.
Mhm.
I think Prince.
I'm pretty sure.
Newfoundland.
I think people do. I think people do buy. It's like the weed.
But
clinics.
Ontario and BC are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have a lot of business here now?
We do.
Yeah, it's growing.
We've had lots. We've tried to. We started the conversation from the minute we made wine. We always included the Ontario media in our releases. We thought it was important to include you in the conversation.
Of course, yes.
And as people came to British Columbia and visited us or had family, they always took wine home with them. At their own risk.
Of course.
But that finally changed.
That's interesting because my biggest problem was that I've tasted virtually every one of your wines through your kindness because you've sent them to me, right, as a journalist. But then I wouldn't be able to write them up here in Ontario. I could write them in a national column, not in a local one, because you can get them here. But you're telling me that that's changed now.
That has.
I'm thrilled to hear. I'm thrilled to hear because I think that God, if it's not, then it certainly is about time.
It was time. There was a lot. Actually, British Columbia was pretty pivotal in that. There's a fellow named Mark Hicken,
And Mark.
who lobbied very hard for that.
Sure.
Yeah, Terry David Mulligan.
Sure, I have this. Well, we all have. A lot of us have.
Yeah.
We're fighting all the time.
Sure. So I think that was a successful effort amongst certain provinces.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Now the next thing that's coming up, is wine and weed. Weed is going to be legalized within the next year. How do you think that's going to impact your business? Is it going to be good? Are you scared about that? I mean, I'm scared. Are you concerned that people will drink less as they smoke more? Are you excited because they're going to need more to wash their mouths out and rinse their throats?
Probably.
Yeah? Yeah, so they're going to work well together.
Well, I think marijuana and wine work well together.
Right, so are you looking at doing wine and weed?
You're in trouble.
Yeah, are you going to do wine and weed tastings? You got a new tasting room. Is that wine and weed tasting room all ready to go?
I'm going to have to start making Zinfandel.
Zinfandel.
That's my own preference.
Yeah.
If I'm going to smoke
I don't know. Friends don't let friends drink Zinfandel.
No?
Do they? Not from
Even
Canada.
do you want to come drink my good Ridge with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, okay. You got California. I thought you were going to grow it.
No, I don't think that would work. There is one planting of Zinfandel in British Columbia.
Yeah, and it's because I've tasted
Or a couple.
it. It was Inniskill in Okanagan.
Yeah, and there's a winery called Rustico that also does a Zin.
Okay. Now tell me about this wine. This is not Zin. This is. I love the name.
This is not Zin.
And this is not Zin.
No.
Yeah, thank you. This is not Zin, and you're most welcome to drink it because it's not Zin. It's the most interesting blend because I just love. I was reading recently that people will pay, rich people will pay a lot of money to have their child named for them so that they have the right name, so they go through life successfully. Did your parents pay for the name Noble?
No, that's really my name.
Yeah.
But I think I got short shrift on that because I don't have a middle name.
Who cares?
I'm just Heidi Noble.
Who cares? Now Heidi's another beauty. I mean, I thought, did they read Heidi? Is that what? That's such a rare name.
My mom was actually pregnant in Switzerland with me. So
explains everything.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, a Noble blend plays off your name. Mm-hmm. It plays off the translation of Ejbich.
Yes, it's a literal translation.
And Ejbich.
Ejbich.
Explain to our dear friends here what Ejbich is.
Ejbich is a classic Alsatian blend of the 5 noble varieties of Alsace.
Right.
So that's not a random mix of white grapes by AOC law. It has to be Gewürztraminer, Riesling, Pinot Blanc, Pinot Auxerrois, and or Gris, and Muscat. And the Noble blend has always been a blend of those varieties.
And are they like more or less equal parts?
No. Over 13 years of making the Noble blend, I've come to learn, it's certainly not a recipe, but I prefer the Noble blend Gewürztraminer dominant for all that beautiful spice, followed closely by Riesling, which really cleans up all that.
And lifts and brightens,
brings the juicy acidity to the wine.
Yep.
and then the Pinot Blanc and Auxerrois add some body, and
Yep.
they also
Blanc
bring,
out.
in particular the Auxerrois brings that clovey and nutmeggy Alsatian spice. When Auxerrois ferments, it actually is quite golden and clovey.
Okay.
And then the Muscat brings the beautiful sort of white flowery spice to it.
This is marvelous.
Yeah, I think I've told this story often over the past couple days, but I think it's very important in the New World, because we've come into the LCBO under the New World banner, that you have to look back to the Old World for some guidance.
You always have, right from the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's
You
part of
always
my classical chef training.
Mhm.
Part of my wine training is it's really important to respect and understand some of those old world traditions. They're traditions tried and true because they work. And I think a wine like an Ejbich or a Gentil is a beautifully naturally balanced wine. Each one of those varieties brings something to that natural balance.
Yeah, and to me, the beauty of this wine, other than that, it's just so delicious drinking.
Yeah, right, and I think that deliciousness comes from natural balance. Right?
Yeah, because it's like you can have, you know, peas and carrots and radishes and this, but if you have them all in a meal or in a salad, it's different, right? And this is different. This is all together. It's got all those things.
Yeah, but harmonious.
Harmoniously.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic with food. New in Ontario and priced at
At $23.95.
$23.95.
In vintages.
In vintages. In vintages, that means it's about, I don't know, they're all over the
So
place.
we're very proud to bring this wine back to Ontario. It has been here with great licensee and restaurant support in the past, but we've brought it back at the same price that it is in British Columbia. So I think it will show great value on the shelves instead of being mispriced by all of this taxation nonsense in both provinces.
Vintages. Vintages suggest to me a single order, could be 500 cases or 1,000 cases, but it doesn't suggest to me regular availability.
We're going to try.
I hope so. I'm
That's why
really
we're
hoping
here personally supporting the launch of
Yeah.
the Noble Blend being back here, because we would like to have it here as it is our flagship wine, so we'd like it to be available.
How much do you make in total?
6,500 cases of it, quite a bit.
Perfect.
Yeah,
That's
there's
great.
about 40 tons of Gewürztraminer in there. Each one of those varieties is fermented separately and then blended. So even though it's the wine we make the most of, it's actually, well, the rosé is the most work, but the Noble Blend is quite a lot of work to put together and to keep balanced every vintage. And I do make vintage wines, so those percentages do fluctuate.
Of course, they have to.
And I think you probably saw my tweet a few weeks ago. I give you huge credit for putting the names of all the vineyards on your wine.
Absolutely.
I think that every
Gives the wine
grower,
a sense of place. I don't think there's any shame in being non 100% estate. I think there's diversity in different sites.
to me, it's not about estate. It's about being inclusive. You're saying, I depend on these growers, and I'm proud of these growers, and it bugs me when winemakers talk, oh, it's all my work. No, there's a lot of growers out there that do that work. So I'm proud of you for doing that.
Full control over our fruit supply. So the winery owns 5 acres on its estate. I live on another 12 that's owned by the winery.
Okay.
And we long-term lease 25
So
acres.
you've moved off the original property onto a new property. Yeah.
That's right. And then we long-term lease 25 acres that we farm with our viticulture team in tandem with Meritage Viticulture.
Okay.
And then we have another 40 acres under long-term contract that is closely managed and is a reciprocal relationship between those a lot of those growers have grown over a decade for me, so that's definitely a respectful relationship there that definitely needs to be acknowledged.
Yeah. So what's next for you?
Stability.
Stability.
Stability, no more growth. I think the winery is very comfortable at 15,000 cases.
Okay.
We can supply Noble Blend and our rosé all year round to our licensees, as well as opening the farm back up to the public so people can come and visit us now.
Yeah. So maybe a little growth organically if required, but
Yeah.
not the growth is not the goal.
It's certainly not.
Yeah.
No, consistency and keeping quality is definitely a goal. Not working 18 hours a day every day is a goal. So we did a lot of restructuring at Joie last year in terms of our our front end logistics and sales and making sure that I'm not doing 3 people's jobs
Yeah.
anymore, which is
You're down to 2.5.
exactly trying to get there.
Yeah.
And then some changes within the winery. I had a co-winemaker. I'm now a sole winemaker with some changes within how my cellar team works.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's very exciting to have a business that's grown to that place and then to make it more efficient and better and more stable.
Sounds
I think
interesting.
when you have an entrepreneurial business that grows very quickly, as ours did, certain things get held together by shoestrings and bubblegum just out of necessity.
There must have been some
right?
really difficult times
For sure.
at the beginning.
And it's really nice to have the opportunity and the means to make those things less tenuous.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in. I'm so
Very happy.
thrilled to have had this opportunity to meet you. I've known you for a dozen years. And I hope you come back and we'll do it again.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. This has been Pro&Kon, and my guest, the pro, has been Heidi Noble from Joie Farm and Winery in Naramata, British Columbia. Beautiful British Columbia. Thank you. Come again soon. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
It was fun.